It's that time. It's 7 o'clock, baby. Oh, sweet. You already got it set up. Nice. It is 7 o'clock, and I'm kicking off my live stream for the Saturday night. It's just a Saturday night. I gotta make sure I have it set up where I can read everybody's comments. Apparently. What's up, Sam? How you doing? Big G's in the house also. Ken, Greg, let me send you a super chat. You're a good dude. Hey, that actually reminds me, as you can see right here, it's the Wheel of Pensen. I promised it on Twitter. And look at how good my wife did with all the lettering. I mean, it looks really good. Did it with vinyl and everything. It's awesome. But there's a lot of different spots on here, and for a $20 super chat or more, you can get a spin of this. Actually, any duplicate of 20, like if you send in 40 bucks, you get 2 spins, 60 bucks, 3 spins, whatever, on up. But there's a lot of good stuff. You can get one of my t-shirts from Pro Wrestling Tees. I'll pay the shipping. I'll do a wrestler's entrance. I'll do karaoke. Dance break, you guys know what that is. Truth time. And Road Stories is on here also, which is me just telling you stories of when I was working in indie wrestling and some of the stories with my wrestling buddies. So a $20 super chat or more will get you a spin of the Wheel of Pensen. A lot of good stuff here. There's also one spot, because I'm a Wheel of Fortune nut, there's a bankrupt. So there's a 1 in 24 chance that you'll hit that. I spun it like 50 times yesterday just in practice. And only hit it once. Got our first super chat in. Ken terminated by Google. Cherry, thank you for answering me last week. At least you didn't put me in a timeout like a certain jackass. I am now a great Cherry fan. I actually don't have any control over that, but I wouldn't put anybody in timeout anyway. So thank you, Ken terminated by Google, for the $5 super chat. Like I said, $20 gets you a spin of the Wheel of Pensen. Lots of good stuff up here. Lots of chances for me to embarrass myself if you so choose. And also, you could get a t-shirt. And hey, if you get like 5 spins of this, if you donate $100 and you get 5 t-shirts, you can get 5 t-shirts. I don't care. There's pretty good odds. There's 3 spots for t-shirts, lots of spots for entrances. There's a whole lot of stuff that you can do. But now, let me get into some of the chats in here tonight. Let me see. AC says, yo, Boston Punk is in the house. What's up, Boston Punk? Kevin, the wheel of disappointment behind you. I don't think there's anything about... There's nothing disappointing about anything right here. It'll be a very entertaining experience here if anybody wants to send in that super chat. My personal opinion. I'm trying to watch this on the YouTube channel. Oh, that's why, because I was going to send it to people to watch it. Let them know that they're all available. Gotta tweet this out, and then and then we can really get started. I'll have a couple of my groups now. There's a group in here that sends like lots of ridiculous money for super chats, so let's try and hit them up. See what we can get here. In the meantime, let's get in on some of these chats. Don Wooding says, hey, Mr. Cherry. What's up, Don? Good to see you. CC Drink says, hi. What's up? AC says, it's been a long time since I've seen you folks. And Sam Wilson, I'm always a huge fan of all the No DQ hosts. Would love to be a part of the team. Well, we'll have to get you on something at some point. If your wrestling trivia knowledge is up to par, then either Jeff or I will be facing you in Season 7 if you get your information in, depending on how that went. The Iron Man match is already filmed. For those that aren't aware, but that is airing April 4th. Thursday, April 4th, the night before, I believe TakeOver's on Friday and the Hall of Fame Saturday. So the night before TakeOver, Thursday, April 4th at 8 p.m., we're doing a live premiere of the Wrestling Trivia Challenge Iron Man match between Jeff Meacham and myself. That was a very intense match and well worth your time watching. I think, funny thing is, I think the most tired out of all of us who were in that was Aaron, which was kind of hilarious. All right. Let's see. Sam Littleton says, I've been watching since the old Talk Wrestling show days. Love all you guys. Talk Wrestling. You know, Jeff has to bring that back. I don't know if it's on delay. I know he wanted to get through the Iron Man match too. Perhaps it's coming back. I don't know. You'll have to ask him. But hopefully he'll come back. Ken Terminator's got to go to Costco. Well, hope you have a good time. Hope you get some good stuff. Tyson Trevino, hope you're mentally preparing for Iron Man trivia match against Jeff. It's already filmed, Tyson, actually. We've already gone through it. I did have to be mentally prepared, as Jeff was as well. And like I said, you're going to have to tune in because, oh boy, that's all I can really say about it. Let's see, where are we at here in the chat? Don Wooding, so you're happy you taped the Iron Man match? I'm glad it's over with, because there was a lot of stress on my shoulders with having to defend against Jeff for 60 straight minutes of wrestling trivia. I'm happy it's over, but as far as the result goes, you'll have to tune in on April 4th to see how that went. There you are, Fame. What's up? T-Man 2019. I know that's Travis. What's up, Fame? TGS, what's for dinner? I actually had lasagna. Just had lasagna before I came on the air. Big G is offering up $50 to the winner of WTC, along with Virtue's $100. So already $150 in the pot for the winner of the trivia match on April 4th. Boston Punk No DQ Instagram poll is 65-35 in favor of Jeff. Yeah, there's a lot of people pulling for Jeff to win, I've noticed, which is fine. I'm in an underdog situation. I know how good Jeff is. I mean, Jeff's a 4-time champion. He's beaten me twice before. So I get it. I completely understand why they went for him, and it makes sense to me. Hi, Caitlin. How you doing? Wayne DePete. Greg, what's your favorite Owen Hart match? My favorite Owen Hart match, I loved his WrestleMania 10 match against Bret Hart. Love that match. And the SummerSlam 94 cage match against Bret was equally as excellent. Owen Hart, it was a crime that they did not give him the World Wrestling Federation Championship in 1994. I mean, if you look on YouTube or somewhere on the internet, there was a lumberjack match between Bret and Owen, which Owen actually initially won for the title. But then a referee reversed it. So that was the closest Owen ever got to actually holding the WWE Championship. I kind of wished it would have happened. Unfortunately, that's not the case. But it was a cool moment to see Owen actually hold the championship, even if it was an overturned decision. Aaron says Jeff and Dylan should do Talk Wrestling together. I'm pretty sure, haven't they done it before? Or was that just a No DQ Live that they did? Because I'm pretty sure we've seen Dylan on the channel before. I know that for a fact. Where are we going? AC says, after NXT TakeOver is going to be the New Japan and ROH G1 Supercard. I mean, that week is going to be absolutely packed with wrestling. So that's why we're doing the Iron Man match on the Thursday before we get into everything else. I'm not going to do a live stream that week because you'll have enough to watch. So Thursday, the Iron Man match is pretty much all you're going to see of me on the No DQ channel, which is fine because it's an hour long. And then you have all the wrestling from Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. I think you guys will be set for a while. So I'll do a live stream the week after, but not that particular week. Zach Rosser, how you doing? Sam Littleton says, you would know you are the GOATs. Well, I've been champion now, I believe, 378 days as of today. So just a couple weeks over a year, I have been the champion. But it's Jeff Meacham. We know how good he is. Let's see. Brian Legaretta. If I botch that, forgive me. I'm terrible with names. How excited are you for WrestleMania? This WrestleMania build has not been super strong. I think they're relying on the fact that it is WrestleMania to sell the show, as it were. I mean, it's on the network, for crying out loud. I just have a problem with the fact that they're not really trying with a lot of these builds. Or it doesn't seem like. It seems like they're going through the motions just to get to WrestleMania. Like, I don't know. It doesn't feel like Mania. It doesn't. It will, like, halfway through the show, 4 hours into the show. But I don't know. I would hate for them to sacrifice the quality of their matches that they're supposed to have at WrestleMania for the Saudi show in, I believe, May or a couple weeks after, whatever it is. I mean, that's the fact that the international shows kind of screw up storylines, like the Super Showdown show. Part of the reason that Braun Strowman is completely ruined because they reunited the Shield just to have that match. Let's be honest. For a Saturday morning pay-per-view that was live in Australia, but why would we get up at like 6-something in the morning to watch a Super Showdown show? The only good thing on that show was the Cruiserweight title match. But it completely ruined Braun Strowman, that entire heel turn, just to have that 6-man tag. Complete waste of time. Absolute waste of time. I hope it's better than last year. Last year was... Let's face it, we haven't had a good WrestleMania since 31. 32 was okay. 33, after the ladder match, nobody really cared. 34, again, only had like 1 or 2 decent matches. I hope 35 is worth it. Like, we'll watch. I mean, we'll all watch. Let's not kid ourselves. It's not like, I'm not going to watch it this year. It's not like the Super Bowl. Like, the Super Bowl this year with the Patriots, I did not watch. And apparently I didn't miss anything. But WrestleMania, as a wrestling fan, you kind of have to watch. Because you never know. You never fully know what's going to happen. And it's really the most unpredictable show of the year. Because from WrestleMania, they could go any direction. I think the main event of last year's proved it. Because everybody and their mother thought Reigns was winning the title, and he didn't. So, you're never sure. WrestleMania is the most unpredictable show of the year. So I hope it's good for the sake of everybody watching. Big G says he's Team Cherry. Well, then I hope I get your $50 since you're putting it up. But we'll have to see. Corey Smith asks if The Undertaker is wrestling this year. I don't know. I don't think he's going to wrestle on the show. Or if he's going to just do the Saudi show. He'll probably make an appearance at WrestleMania just because... it's WrestleMania. I doubt he'll have a match. Like, there's nothing built for him for WrestleMania. And there doesn't need to be, honestly. Because eventually they're going to have to do WrestleMania without The Undertaker. So I don't think there will... He might have an appearance. He might tombstone Elias or something just for a cool WrestleMania moment, but he's not going to actually have a full-blown match at Mania. He may for the Saudi show, but not for WrestleMania. Don Wooding's asking if I lost the World well, it is technically the World Wrestling Trivia Challenge Championship, considering that we've had somebody from Canada and we've had somebody from the Rock of Gibraltar hold it, so it's technically defended against people from other countries. So the World Wrestling Trivia Challenge Championship. If I lose that in the Iron Man match, will we got produce season 7 or no? I believe so. As far as I know, season 7's got to go forward, but again, we'll have to see what happens. Owen Hart is one of the greatest wrestlers to have never won world title gold. It absolutely is. Arguably one of the greatest wrestling technical wrestlers of all time. It's a shame he never got the world championship. Would he have if he didn't have his accident in '99? I don't know, because he was still doing the blue blazer gimmick, which I don't know why anybody thought that was a good idea. And clearly it wasn't. But, I mean, it's a shame Owen never won the world championship. Same with Piper. Same with Scott Hall. And granted, Scott Hall's still alive, but he's not going to be anywhere near in shape to compete for a world championship. As cool as it would be, I mean, I love Scott Hall. Absolutely fantastic wrestler and one of the most influential figures in wrestling history. But at this stage of his life, he will never become world champion. And that sucks, because Scott Hall, Razor Ramon, probably should have at least competed for a world championship, if not won one. Let's see here. Sam Littleton's asking, what has been the worst overall week in wrestling this year? That's hard to answer. Really, if you're talking about WrestleMania to WrestleMania, that week where they had, who was it, Drake Maverick pee on Bobby Roode's robe. Like, that episode of Raw was probably the worst Raw they've ever produced. Like, it was completely ridiculous from top to bottom, that show. And the only good thing about that show was Wrong with Ziggler, which they had only done for like the 20th time by that point. But if you're talking this calendar year, it's really hard to judge, and who knows, maybe we haven't seen the worst yet. But, I don't know. Aaron's asking a question. How many questions do you think were asked in the Iron Man match? And Travis says 42. Again, you guys will have to see. But there were a lot of questions asked. Wayne DeP says Greg Cherry versus Brock Lesnar, a winner defense title. I'm pretty sure I still have more defenses than Brock Lesnar has in his 2 reigns as champion. This will be my 18th defense, this one against Jeff. And hopefully more, but I can only wish for so much. Don Wooding says 125. Boston Punk says 1 every 30 seconds for 120 total. And Don says poor Aaron will need a week off after WrestleMania week. Aaron probably needed a week off after the Iron Man. Oh my goodness. Y2 Woody's asking, will I make 434? Am I got past CM Punk's reign? I have to beat Jeff first. And then we'll have to see if I do get past Jeff, and the season 7 happens, I'll have to get past people there. What I believe when I reach the match against Jeff, airing April 4th, I'll be at 390. So I'll still need about another month and a half. But I'm shooting for 434, but I might come just short. I don't blame you for taking a break in late April. Y2 Woody, am I recording this in a dungeon? No. I'm sure the lighting in this is terrible, because there's light outside. It doesn't look bad on my screen, but like looking on the YouTube screen, it does look pretty freaking bad. Let me see if I can't fix the lighting here. I don't know if this is going to make a difference or not. Does that make it any better? Hopefully that makes it a little better. I don't know if that's going to do anybody any favors. Corey Smith, I'm going to WrestleMania. I hope Taker is there. I'll be pissed. The only one I go to, and he's not there. Like I said, he may be there. He may be there. I don't know if he'll be wrestling a full match or not. I figured if he was, they'd make an announcement of it. I think he'll be there. Even if it's just to make an appearance. Undertaker's entrance at WrestleMania is pretty awesome, though. I was there at 28 in Miami, and legit, when his entrance music hit, it got 10 degrees colder instantly in an outdoor stadium. Don't know how they did that, but it was awesome. Wayne DeP, Greg, if not Kofi, who would be a good choice for Bryan at Mania? I don't know at this point if you can go with anybody except Kofi for Bryan at WrestleMania. Because the story is Kofi doing everything he possibly can to get a shot. I mean, I saw somewhere it was suggested that they throw Kofi into the Andre the Giant Battle Royal, and the winner of that Battle Royal gets a shot at the WWE Championship. I mean, it's hard to believe that they would make a change like that to the WWE Championship match at WrestleMania. But think about it, WrestleMania 30 had the triple threat, where the opening match of the show determined who was the third participant in the triple threat match. So they may do something like that. I don't know what they're going to do, but everybody's really intrigued and they want to see Kofi in that spot, which is a good thing. You want that kind of strong build for your WWE Championship match. You want that strong build behind someone who arguably is one of the favorites to win at WrestleMania, should he get that match. Everybody wants to see Seth Rollins, Kofi Kingston, and Becky Lynch all win their matches. I don't think that'll be the case. I think at least one of them will win. At least one of them. Because I feel like if they give us all three, we're going to feel really spoiled and think we're entitled to getting everything that we want with that. I don't think we're going to get all three. In fact, I would even go as far to say is I don't know if we're going to get two of the three. You'll see that in my WrestleMania predictions. Well, I guess you will see me after the trivia match, because I'll probably be posting my WrestleMania predictions. I might have Travis do that with me, do like a Cherry versus Neri pre-WrestleMania show. Need to talk to him about that. If he's on the chat, then let me know, Finn. Kevin Gerhart, who inducts DX into the Hall of Fame? Mr. McMahon, McFoley, or someone else? They haven't really announced who's doing inductions, or if they're even doing inductions. There's a lot of speculation about the Hall of Fame this year, so until we know for sure if they're going to be inductees or inductors for the inductees, I feel like a random one would be Bret Hart, because he was one of the first victims of DX. The McMahons would make sense. They had a long-standing feud. Or The Rock, even, if he was available. Just if you think the long feud with the Nation back in the day. Let's see. SC says, it's odd that WrestleMania's ending in 5 usually end up being some of the worst. Let's see, 15, 25. Yeah, 25 was pretty terrible. That was a 2-match show. 15, at least had a good main event. Not much else for the rest of it, but... And 5, I'd have to go back and watch again. I know the Hogan-Savage feud was hot for WrestleMania 5. Other than that, not a whole lot to write home about. There may be some disagreeing with me on that from wrestling historians, but 5's not very memorable in my book. Corey Smith, I feel like Taker won't be there in respect to Kurt Angle. It really should be Undertaker's retirement match, 10-year anniversary of his Shawn Michaels match, too. Yeah, his first one. WrestleMania 25, arguably still to this day, the best WrestleMania match in history. There's some debate about that. Some people say the Iron Man, some people say Shawn Taker, others say Bret Hart and Stone Cold Steve Austin. All good choices. Um, that's definitely an argument that could be had. What's the best WrestleMania match of all time? Boston Punk, even I have to admit, this last Super Bowl was horrendous. Yeah, and your team won. He said it should have been the Saints losing to the Pats. Well, I'm sure there would have been a lot more offense if the Saints would have faced New England. Like, that was... It was ridiculous. I followed along on my phone. I didn't actually watch the game. So to see that there was no touchdown scored until the fourth quarter of the Super Bowl was pretty lame, in my opinion. Scott Salvis says WrestleMania doesn't look very good this year because of shoddy booking of the matches. You know, the way I see it, people don't care for the booking because they're not getting what they want. But there is very much a finality to people's mindsets once an episode of Raw or SmackDown ends. And they're like, that's it. That's all they're going to do with this story. Some people don't think of the story progression. And maybe, just maybe, are we too hard on creative? Granted, they have made some terrible decisions in the past, but are we too hard on creative? I want you guys to think about that. Because the story's not over. The story doesn't end with that SmackDown. You know there's going to be follow-up. And that's what they're doing. They want to have you watch next week to see what will happen. It's actually a very good strategy for the wrestling business. Because you're invested. You want to see something happen so bad. They got you in. So, in that sense, well done, WWE. AC says Undertaker versus Finn Balor. I doubt it. I really doubt it. You're only 2 weeks out from WrestleMania. Why would you do a match like that and not have any build? Zero build whatsoever. Granted, it'd be the Demon versus the Phenom, which would be cool, but you would think you would want to have some build with that. Scott Salva says, love to see Rock or Steve Austin this year. Well, there's rumors out there that Austin will be at WrestleMania. Whether The Rock is or not, we'll have to see. And TJ is asking homemade lasagna because that sounds great. Yep, my wife made homemade lasagna from scratch. Kevin Gerhart says, Lex Luger in the Hall of Fame, and if so, when? If you ask Jeff, he probably wouldn't be okay with Luger in the Hall of Fame because he's never been a Luger fan. I don't know with Lex Luger. I don't know if it's a case of they don't want to show him in the condition he's in, because I believe he's still in a wheelchair. And that doesn't remind you of the total package of old. I haven't seen a picture of Lex Luger in years, so forgive me if he's not in a wheelchair anymore. I haven't heard any news about him lately. But Lex Luger was a very influential part of the 90s. I mean, look at his entire run with the creation of the NWO and beating Hogan for the title after Hogan held it for almost a year on an episode of Nitro, of all things. Yeah, I think he'll get in someday. It may be a after he's passed induction. As much as I hate to say it, but I don't know what the story is with Luger because he hasn't. I believe I saw him in a WWE ring live the last time he was a part of the WWE, because he was done shortly after SummerSlam, if not at SummerSlam '95. Because he was gone, and then he was on the very first episode of Nitro. Mark Del Rio, what's up, Greg Cherry? How are you? I'm doing pretty good. Looking forward to the trivia match. Hoping I get to spin this wheel. My wife worked really hard on it. $20 super chat. We'll get a spin of the wheel. Don Wooding, I hope you won the trivia challenge because I want to see you and Mark Moffat round 2. You know, that would be good. A good match again. Mark definitely took me to my limit. We went to a tie. And I'll tell you what, those ties really stress me out. I've gone through, 4 of them now? I've won every one of them, granted, but Whew, I'll tell you what. Mark Del Rio is saying, what was your thoughts on Impact Wrestling and the style of Hulk Hogan and Eric Bischoff and why? Didn't really follow Impact a whole lot during that time. I just know that when you have Val Venus, Sean Morley, whatever, beat Christopher Daniels on pay-per-view, which would have been his first pay-per-view win in 10 years after Daniels had just competed for the TNA World Championship, I was not a fan. Not a fan at all. I'm pretty sure Sean Morley was gone shortly after. So there was no point in doing that. I'm a huge Christopher Daniels fan, and for that to happen, I was really, really upset that happened. It should have never in a million years happened. But it did. It drove me insane. Scott Salas, don't forget he pissed his pants. I don't remember that one. TJS, 69 questions. Well, I'll tell you this, TJS. It's definitely more questions than you have battery percentage. Daniel Sims, with WrestleMania 35 having a weak build, just like WrestleMania 31 had a weak build, will it be surprising good like 31, or will it be bad? You know, you're right. 31 did not have a strong build, but it was an excellent show. WrestleMania 31 was actually probably one of the top 5 WrestleManias of all time. Which, some people may disagree with that, because 30 was very good, 20 was very good, and 17 and 19 were obviously fantastic as well. I believe 31 is up there, or at least should be up there in the top 5 WrestleManias of all time, because it was an excellent show. Such a great show, top to bottom. Keith Johnson, it's unfortunate Ciampa got hurt, but it certainly opens the door for Adam Cole. He was kind of getting stagnant and lost in the shuffle. Yeah, I mean, the Undisputed Era have kind of been faltering since they lost the Tag Team Championships at the last TakeOver. But this definitely helps Adam Cole, baby. And him and Gargano are going to have a spectacular 2 out of 3 falls match at TakeOver. It's going to be awesome. I kind of hope Gargano wins just so he gets that story of being NXT champion. I don't know if that's the route they're going to go, or if they're going to have him chase Adam Cole now the champ is out. So we'll have to wait and see. Don Wooding, can you give us a teaser for the Iron Man match? It's me versus Jeff. 60 minutes. I'm actually going to work on a video, you know how WWE used to do like solid video packages back in the day? I want to do something like that for the Iron Man, which I need to work on. And probably after this live stream, I definitely will work on. But I don't want to give away too much information. That's why I'm trying to be as vague as possible and not give you any clues whether Jeff won or whether I won. AC says, I actually saw WrestleMania 28 with my father when I was 13. You were there. Well, I was too. I was a little higher up. I was actually with Travis and my wife for that show. So it was definitely a lot of fun. Travis was not happy with the main event finish because he was Team Cena. And we were both totally confused about the 18-second Sheamus and Bryan match. But I think that worked itself out in the end. Bader Muhammad, I feel Becky is going to be champion at Mania. Rollins will defeat Lesnar, but that will be in Saudi Arabia, not at Mania. I hate the fact that the Saudi shows are almost taking precedence over WrestleMania. And the fact that they're just kind of doing WrestleMania rematches at the Saudi shows. If anything, they should have had the Saudi shows in like June or July when it was far away from WrestleMania, but they're doing them like 3 or 4 weeks after. Which, again, is not enough time to build the shows. Caitlin says she was on a flight with Lex Luger. Was that recent, Caitlin, or was that years ago? Nate Washington, he was a good Pittsburgh Steeler. What's up, Greg Cherry? How's it going? Greetings from the state of Washington. Well, that makes sense with Nathan Washington. How's it going? Over on the West Coast there. Aftermatch Wrestling says the Wizard's in the house. Yeah, I did. Yeah, it's funny. I actually was Harry Potter for Halloween years ago. Not that that's related at all. AC says WON Hall of Fame inducted LA Park. La Parka. So Meltzer inducted somebody into his Hall of Fame, which, whatever. DJ Whitty says, what's on the wheel? If it's interesting enough, I'll send the $20. Well, for those that missed it, somebody who joined the live stream late, there's an opportunity for a t-shirt. You can get one of my t-shirts from Pro Wrestling Tees, your choice, completely up to you. I could sing karaoke, which I don't have that great of a voice anyway, but we'll see how that goes. I'll do a random wrestler's entrance, complete with like lighting and everything. Dance break, I'll dance like an idiot for a minute. Truth time, you can ask me whatever you want, and I have to answer truthfully. Like, it can be personal, within reason, obviously. Road story, I can tell you a road story with something that happened to me in the indie wrestling business or with some of my wrestling friends. And there is one spot that says bankrupt, which means nothing happens. So, I mean, that's your option. Those are your options, DJ Whitty, so... And for every $20 that's sent, you get another spin. So if you send 40, you get 2 spins. If you send 60, you get 3 spins. But if you know how the bankrupt works, if your last spin's a bankrupt, you don't get anything. So that's the risk you take. But there's only one bankrupt spot out of 24. So the odds are pretty low. Aftermatch Wrestling. Hey, Aaron, can I get moderator status for the Aftermatch account? Kevin Gerhart says, speaking of Lex, last time you saw him, it was in Arrowhead Pond with the Lex Express. Wow, can you believe that's almost, 25, 26 years ago? Where the whole Lex Express gimmick was going on? Aftermatch Wrestling did send in a $1 super chat, which I completely missed while rambling on. So thank you, Aftermatch, for that. What did you think? This is from Nate Washington. Where did it go? What did you think about the WWE style ECW, if you've seen it before? I knew it wasn't going to be the same as the original ECW. So, I mean, what can you say about it? I mean, it helped Christian when he came back to the show. And that's really the only person who did anything for was Christian. Because it put him into main event, as it were, status on ECW. And granted, it helped John Morrison too. But I guess it helped a few people. But it wasn't the ECW that everybody remembered. I think that was a problem with having ECW be the third brand. Because you knew for a fact it was not going to be what it was back in the day. They should have taken that brand away and made it something else. And they did. And it's called NXT now. Granted, not the original NXT, the NXT it is now. Which was the better year for NXT, 2015 or 2018? I would say 2015, just because NXT was getting really hot at that point, and they had spectacular, absolutely spectacular matches in 2015. Still one of my favorite matches of all time, Sasha and Bayley at TakeOver Brooklyn. Absolutely, still to this day, the best women's wrestling match I've ever seen. I know Charlotte has great matches. I know Becky has great matches. But Sasha and Bayley, that was definitively the best women's wrestling match I've ever seen. And arguably the match of the year that year. Either gender. Let's see. Mark Del Rio says, a video package would be nice, Greg. Yeah, I'm going to do what I can. Gonna find some production music, stuff that you can use for free without having to worry for copyrights. Aftermatch Wrestling says 2018 because you can't beat the culmination of Gargano and Ciampa. Gargano and Ciampa had an incredible feud, don't get me wrong. But I think there was unfinished business. They didn't really finish that feud. They were supposed to before Ciampa's neck surgery, um, which probably would have culminated in Gargano winning the championship, which would have been an awesome, like, 2-year story. But the fact that Ciampa had neck surgery kind of ruined that. But hopefully Ciampa can get back in the ring. Probably not till next year. We probably won't see him till next year. Dudious Maximus, this year's Hall of Fame Warrior Award. They're doing the right thing by it, but not much coverage by people, as if someone else, like we had in the past, had people in uproar. Well, this year's Warrior Award is what the Warrior was actually asking for. People behind the scenes getting the recognition they deserve. So, I think they're doing right by it this year. We don't know who the person is, but we're not supposed to know, really. So I think it's a good thing who they're giving it to, as my dog barks and goes crazy like he always does. Mark Del Rio says, I watched WrestleMania 31 in person when I was in the Bay Area. You were towards the front row. That's pretty awesome. You got to watch WrestleMania 31 in person. I got to go to 28, which was a fun WrestleMania. Not the best, but I would have loved to have seen 31 in person. That would have just been spectacular, seeing Seth's Money in the Bank cash in live. That would have been amazing. Let's see. Don Woodings asks, who would you say are your top 3 favorite people you played so far in the Trivia Challenge? I would probably have to say, Jeff's up there. Mark Moffat is up there. And probably Chris Cass. Because Chris took me to my limit as well. It's hard to pin down 3 people, because I played a lot of people. I enjoy competition regardless whether I dominate or whether it's a close match. So I don't know. So it's hard to narrow it down to 3. But if I had to, I guess it would be 3. Do you think... Where'd that go? Oh, Aaron got his Twitter working. That's good. Got the NoDQ Twitter. Awesome. You can plug the live stream. Try and get people in here. We got to get this wheel spun. My wife worked really hard on this. And you guys could get t-shirts. You guys can watch me make an ass of myself. $20. Mickie James versus Trish Stratus from WrestleMania 22 or the Women's Triple Threat from WrestleMania 32. I may have to give the edge to the Women's Triple Threat. As much as I loved Mickie and Trish, and that was probably the best wrestling match from the Divas era, like that time between, realistically before the women's evolution. That was probably one of the best matches. I know Mickie James and Beth Phoenix had a spectacular series, but Mickie James and Trish Stratus from WrestleMania 2 was a fantastic technical match. A great story-driven match. And those make the best kind of matches. Let's be honest. One of my favorite matches of all time, it's a weird one, but it's Kurt Angle and Shane McMahon from the King of the Ring. One of my favorite matches of all time. It might not have been a technical bout, but the story behind it was amazing because Shane helped Kurt Angle win his semifinal match, only to cost him in the finals just so Kurt had to wrestle 3 matches that night. It was brilliant. It didn't work in the end for Shane, but it was a brilliant way to tell the story throughout the night. Absolutely awesome. And the match was spectacular. So I would give the edge to the Women's Triple Threat, just because of the fact that the Women's Championship came out of it and the Divas Championship was done. And also, 3 of the 4 horsewomen in a triple threat, you can never go wrong. Dr. Dan's asking, do you think The Undertaker will make a surprise appearance and then John Cena comes out for a match? I don't think they'll do that. I really don't think they'll do Taker and Cena again. I don't know why you would, because Taker squashed Cena last year. Aftermatch Wrestling's asking, what's the funniest moment in WWE history? Oh boy. Funniest moment in WWE history. I would have to say, that's a tough one. Because there are certain backstage segments that are really funny. I would say This Is Your Life. That seems like a easy one. The Rock's This Is Your Life, not the one The Rock did for Mick Foley. I'm going to have to say, as a whole, Bobby Heenan's entire stint as commentary. Regardless of who he was with. Heenan was absolute gold on the microphone. Rest in peace, Bobby Heenan. But whether it was with Gorilla Monsoon or whether it was with Jim Ross and the Macho Man, I mean, watch back Invasion of the Body Slammers. It was a Coliseum video. And his commentary throughout the entire video was fantastic. Granted, Bobby Heenan was fantastic anyway, but any of his commentary in like 92, 93 time frame, even after he was with Gorilla Monsoon, spectacular. My thoughts are below. Hi, Greg. Enjoying the stream. Well, I appreciate that. What's your history in the wrestling business, and have you ever trained to be a wrestler? I have trained to be a wrestler. Actually, one of the things on here is road stories, and I can tell you some, but I do have some good ones, some entertaining ones. $20 could get you one of those road stories. But I have trained to be a wrestler. I was mostly a manager in the Indies, but I did take bumps and all that stuff. AC, what do you think is the most brutal wrestling match to not feature any blood? To not feature any blood. Was there any actual blood in the 99 I Quit match? Because I know Mankind took like a billion shots. Yeah, I guess there was, because he was bleeding after he took the mask off. Let's see. Shane and The Undertaker from WrestleMania 32 was pretty brutal. Especially Shane diving off the top of the cell. It's hard when you take blood out of it. Because when you think brutal, you think like, both the guys are covered in blood. And if you want to see a bloodbath, JBL and Eddie Guerrero from, I believe, no, not Great American Bash. It was Judgment Day, 2004. That one was a bloodbath. Will we ever see horsewomen versus horsewomen when Ronda comes back from starting her family? We may see it at SummerSlam. You would figure the horsewoman versus horsewoman kind of has to happen, being that all of them are with the company right now. So you figure at some point, if you want to save it for a Survivor Series, you can, because that kind of match would make sense. But eventually you're going to have to do the horsewoman versus horsewoman match. The only problem is getting them all on the same page as far as the WWE horsewomen. Because Sasha and Bayley are doing their own thing as tag team champions. And Becky and Charlotte basically hate each other now. So how you make that work and somehow form that alliance back up, we'll have to see. Let's see. Kevin Gerhart says the Spirit Squad getting slimed. Aftermatch Wrestling says Titus World Slide. Ken Terminated by Google says my pick for funniest moment would be Mean Gene's F-it moment at SummerSlam. JBL on darts in Japan was pretty hilarious. Yeah, that was a good segment. When he got shot by the tranquilizer dart, brought out the dinosaur. JBL is very underrated as far as segments go. He had no problem making an ass out of himself. What else? The Yeti by Tony Schiavone. Yeah, that was ridiculous. Ken terminated by Google. Cherry, you were a former manager like Meacham. Yep, I definitely was. And Mick Doherty, what's up from Ireland? Hey, Mick, how you doing? Oh, am I through the chat already? Yes, the APA segments, Ken, were very highly underrated. I think I'm pretty much through the chat. So, like I said, $20 get you a spin of this wheel. You could get a T-shirt. You could get me doing an entrance, me singing, me telling you a road story, me dancing like an idiot. If you want me to embarrass myself, chances are you'll get me to spin this wheel. If you know anybody who's entertained by people making a fool of themselves, $20 right here. ASC says, what's the nastiest blade job in wrestling besides Eddie Guerrero from Judgment Day 2004? Ever heard of the mass transit incident from ECW? I've never actually seen it, but there's a few things in wrestling that I refuse to watch fully. The mass transit incident, Sid breaking his leg. There's something else that I can't recall, but those couple things I just straight out refuse to seek out to watch. Dr. Dan says, so do you see The Undertaker not appearing at all this year? He'll probably appear at WrestleMania. In what capacity, I don't know. But he'll probably appear in some form or another. Caitlin, are you trying to spell Odyssey? Let me know. Dudious Maximus, do you think Jushin Thunder Liger will have a match in WWE before he retires? Do you count NXT? He had one in 2015 against Tyler Breeze. It was actually the opening match of TakeOver. My pick is Triple H from Backlash 2006. That was just sickening. Yeah, he bladed pretty hard for that one. Also, Vince McMahon Survivor Series 2003. Undertaker punched him once and Vince bled like a freaking faucet. So if you haven't seen that Buried Alive match, Vince bled pretty much the entire match. He got hit once and was covered. Did you ever turn off your TV while watching wrestling due to being offended like the Katie Vick segment from My Thoughts Are Below? No, I'm not easily offended. I can only imagine how a segment like that would be held in today's standards. Yeah, I've never been that easily offended by anything. So I've never turned off my TV while watching wrestling. I've either turned it off while watching wrestling because I was tired or because I was like, I can watch it later. Let's see. Another one that's sick of me was actually The Rock from the April 10th, 2000 Raw. I'll have to look at that. I'll have to seek that one out. I'm guessing the McMahon-Helmsley faction beat him down pretty good. Aaron says he's stoked for Mario Maker 2. Yeah, I'm hoping to get a Switch so that I can play Mario Maker 2. Because that looks like it's going to be intense. I kind of hope, I don't know if they will include Super Mario 2. They really should. Granted, it's a completely different system than other Mario games, but they should include it just for the purposes of it's part of Mario history. Katie Vick caused that episode Raw to be TVMA. I believe it. Ken Terminated by Google is asking if I'm a Tetris fan. I like Tetris. Not my favorite game in the world, but I'm decent at it. I've played Tetris before. I've also played Dr. Mario. Similar concept. And yeah, I know Aaron has talked about Super Mario Brothers 2 before. He tweeted about that he used to play it as a kid. I never actually owned Super Mario 2 as a kid. I had 1 and 3. Never got the second one as a kid. And then, like, years later, when I had my Wii, or I still do have it, um, I got the Super Mario All Stars. So I was able to play 1, 2, and 3. I never had a Super Nintendo either. That's why I didn't have All Stars on that console. Um, but I did get to play Super Mario 2 for the first time and go through the entire game. It was difficult. It's difficult when you're not used to that system of how things work. But I ended up beating it. Let's see. Darren G from the No DQ Galaxy says, I'll kick some ass in WWF No Mercy. Bring it on. Riff knows how I play WWF No Mercy. He was here for Backlash 2016, and we played some before the pay-per-view. Good stuff. I love me some WWF No Mercy. I play it from time to time just to see if I can go through survival mode and get all 100 eliminations. Dr. Dan is asking, what's my favorite WWF match of all time? Well, I did say Shane and Kurt from King of the Ring 2001. That actually might be it. Strange as it might seem, I might be going with that one. I'm a huge Shane McMahon fan anyway, which seems weird because he's not a full-time wrestler, but he is just so impressive for not being a full-time wrestler that I love Shane O'Mac. Ken Terminated by Google's asking speaking of addicting games, have you played Supercard? I played Supercard when it first came out. I haven't played it in a couple years. I'm more addicted to WWE Champions, personally. Just because I love Candy Crush, and then WWE Champions is basically Candy Crush as a WWE game. So, naturally, I got hooked on that. I've been playing it ever since. Mick Doherty's asking, what am I drinking? I'm drinking water. And that's basically to keep my throat so I don't get dehydrated. Kevin Gerhart saying he still has his copy of No Mercy on N64, which still works. Actually, I probably have mine here too. Yep, right here, right on top. Yep. Still have it, still works. Still works with my N64. I have a lot of classic video games, and in my first live stream I talked about this a lot. I need to look through here to see if I can find Backstage Assault for Chris Cass, because I'm pretty sure I have it somewhere. Just not sure where. Big Dirty says, get the beer in you. I don't drink. I got the straight edge thing like Punk. Jason Grossi, or Gross, however it is, saying he was at the Raw in Nashville where the Katie Vick storyline happened. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry you had to be in the arena for that live. I can only imagine how weird that was, or how that came across in the arena. Let me know how the fans in that arena reacted, because that was before YouTube, before we could see the audience reactions all the time. Let me know how the audience reacted. McDoherty says, I'm at level 39, 3,945 on Candy Crush. I was in the 2000s before I stopped playing it. Kid Terminated by Google says Backstage Assault is such a good game. You know, I do need to play through it again. I thought I had it for the PlayStation. I may have to, like, find it at some, like, classic video game store near me just to see. I looked for the last video game store I was at. I didn't see it. But I might have to go and play it again just to play through it again, even though it's awful. Yes, I am Aaron's straight edge brother. Yep, neither one of us drink, which is perfectly fine. Jason says it did not go over well. I didn't think it would. I didn't think there was going to be a huge pop-up. It was such a weird segment. I'm so glad they like never showed footage of that again. They made mention of it like one time on Raw in 2007. Like DX made a mention of it. I was like, ugh. Nobody wants to remember the Katie Vick segments ever again. We all went and erased that from our memory completely. Darren G from NoDQ, from the NoDQ Galaxy. Diggity dog. Sacco. Yep, the No Mercy theme. Jason says, I still have my copy of that in WrestleMania 2000. Colin Mack with $1.99 super chat. Does this go to Cherry or Aaron? Aaron and I worked out a little thing where we split the money because I'm doing the live stream on his channel, so he gets like a hosting fee or whatever for this, but we split it between us. Let me see if I can find my copy of WrestleMania 2000 in here, because I know I have it in here. It's the only other black N64 cartridge in here. It should be. That's it. Yep. Right here. WrestleMania 2000. Both great games. Both absolutely fantastic games. WrestleMania 2000, I kind of like the story mode in that one a little bit more. But also I can win like all the championships in this one. And this had full entrances and No Mercy didn't. So there's that. Alright. Ken terminated by Google. Cherry, I got a question about WWE Champion. Shoot, let me know. Oh, let's see. Ironically, Godfather Show costs a lot of money in No Mercy. Yeah, that's very true. Mick Doherty says Aaron should donate the first $20. Well, he get some of it back, so why not? AC says, I saw the Katie Vick episode and I distinctly heard fans in the Nashville arena during the chants chanting, what the fuck? Do you blame them? Do you blame them at all for chanting that? I wouldn't. Does it irritate the crap out of you when you get so many duplicate cards? That's why I switched to Supercard. I mean, dupes I just kind of expect anymore in Champions. But they added like a shard system in the game where you can actually use all those duplicates to level up your characters. I actually just leveled up Sting to 3-star silver in the game because I finally got my 400 shards today through one of the pools. So that was kind of cool. I've been looking to level up Sting for so long. Let's see. Virtue should do the first 20 since he makes more money than all of us. Well, Virtue's at an indie show, Aaron, so he's not even on this tonight. Mick Doherty saying big bucks Virtue. Yeah, he's got the big money Matt gimmick. Would you have liked to see Evil Doink versus Hogan? Why? I'll get back to your thoughts. My thoughts are below. I'll get to yours in a second. Why would you want to do Evil Doink versus Hogan? I mean, Evil Doink wasn't in the company for very long before Hogan left. I don't even know what he would have done. My thoughts are below is asking, are you a Steelers fan, Greg, and do you watch many sports apart from wrestling? Yes, I am a Steelers fan. Love the Pittsburgh Steelers. All the drama surrounding them is completely ridiculous. But beyond that, I'm also a New York Yankees fan, which Boston Punk will just shake his head at. I'm also a Pittsburgh Penguins fan, and I am also a Notre Dame college football fan. And college football is probably my sport of choice out of all the four. I mean, I love my Steelers, don't get me wrong, but I love college football that much more because it's something that I share with my dad. That's something we both enjoy. We talk Notre Dame football all the time. So that's closer to my heart than Steelers football. Granted, Steelers football, I bleed black and gold, don't get me wrong. But when it comes down to it, Notre Dame football trumps that just a little bit. Mick Doherty says, what about soccer? Never got into it. Never got into it. And Darren G from No DQ Galaxy says, what was the hardest championship story mode to get to 100% No Mercy? Probably, it makes sense, the WWE Championship. Because the Hardcore Championship mode was fun, honestly, because you could just beat the crap out of people in any way possible and all over the place. But the WWE Championship, there's very specific times where you had to lose. And whenever I had to lose, I'd just get myself intentionally disqualified right away just to like, get through to the next part. But it definitely was the hardest out of all of them. Probably the second closest would be the Intercontinental. There wasn't much to the women's one at all. Because you figure there weren't that many women in the game. I kind of wish they would remake No Mercy or like something like that with today's roster, because they'd probably be able to do way more with it. I wish THQ and Ukes would like, well, first of all, THQ is bankrupt, but I wish Ukes or somebody of the like would recreate a WWE game with today's roster. You know how amazing that would be with updated storylines and all that? Huh. So great. Granted, a lot of WWE storylines, especially the WWE Championship one, was based off of storylines that actually happened on TV. Like you could tell from where they were from. Let's see here. Jason says college football is my favorite by far. Yeah, I mean it's so fun to get involved in, because you have to realize with college football, basically if you lose a game or two, you're out. So every single game is important. Every single last push you can make towards the college football playoff is important. And granted, I was excited for this year's college football playoff until Notre Dame got slaughtered by Clemson. But just to see Notre Dame in that top 4 spot. Like Notre Dame hasn't won a championship since '88, since I was 2 years old. So kind of heartbreaking for me to not having actually witnessed a championship in my lifetime. It's happened while I've been alive, but I haven't been witness to it. Let's see. Let's see. Have I ever seen the WCW New Japan show in North Korea? No, I have not. I don't know if that's on the network at all. I have been watching some 96 WCW, just following along with all the NWO storylines. Just going through the collection on the network, which will probably be what I continue doing after this is done. Ken Terminated by Google is asking, how would you guys feel if Alicia Fox falls victim to the spring cleaning? I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised either. I mean, Alicia Fox basically caused Arn Anderson to get fired, which, I mean, that is kind of on Arn. But she's expendable. She's got great, like, she's very athletic. And she has an over-the-top personality. But I swear, in 11 years, she never got over. Poor Alicia Fox. Because she's talented, she is. And she's beautiful, too. But she never got over. Let's see. I wish this chat was a little bit better to scroll through. Big Rocker Johnson, hey, how you doing? What is your dream match? Me versus Shane McMahon in a street fight at WrestleMania. He's also asking, do you think Andrade could win Money in the Bank? You know, it's funny. I imagined a scenario, and this is completely fantasy, where I would end up challenging Daniel Bryan for the WWE Championship on a random episode of SmackDown Live and winning the championship, celebrating, and Andrade was cashing in Money in the Bank. So I think Andrade would have a good shot winning Money in the Bank. Whether he actually wins it will remain to be seen. You figure the last male to successfully cash in Money in the Bank was Dean Ambrose. And that seems like ages ago. Because the last 2 men's Money in the Bank cash-ins have failed. Corbin's was just terrible. And then Braun Strowman was a complete waste. You figure he should have got back because it was a no contest, but Braun was in the process of being completely ruined. That does drive me nuts that they ruined him so bad because they were pushing him so hard, and now it's nobody cares. He's in Big Show territory. Like, he's just this big guy who does stuff. It's like, okay, cool, he's here. But he was so over. Even a year ago today, he was so over. And they completely ruined him. Like, it's almost worse than Bayley's booking when she first came up. And everybody, it's well documented how much I didn't care for Bayley's booking when she came up. Let's see. Ken terminated by Google saying it's like me typing anything bad about my hero, Ricky Steamboat. I got to meet Steamboat, actually. Got to wear his Hall of Fame ring, too. At an indie show I went to. 2 years ago? Yeah, it was 2 years ago because it was right after WrestleMania 33. Because I got to meet the Hardys and I believe Ryback and Mr. Anderson. I personally want to go because I'm a huge Mr. Kennedy / Mr. Anderson fan. Sue me. I've always liked the character. I've always liked the guy. Personal preference. But that was awesome. Jason, you got to meet him in 2017 too. Yeah, that's pretty cool. It'd be funny if it was the same show. AC says, do you think NXT should do a Hell in a Cell match one day? And Zach Rosser says, hi, Greg. Hi, Zach. They probably could have done one with Gargano and Ciampa, but I don't know if the Hell in a Cell is just strictly a WWE thing, because you figure War Games is kind of just an NXT thing, so they have their own. Whether they'll do it, I don't know if they will. They may just think that it's a WWE specific match, the Hell in a Cell. Like, as long as they don't do the Kennel from Hell match, I'm good. Yeah, Steamboat was a gentleman. He was. You can't really say anything negative about Ricky Steamboat. He's a good guy. I don't believe he was ever heel in his career. And how could he be? How can you hate Ricky Steamboat? Dudious Maximus says Bray is too much like Taker and Braun is too much like Brock. I don't even think Braun is too much like Brock. Because Braun kind of had his own thing. And he could have... The fact that he lost to Brock twice did not help. Did not help at all. Because it's like... Braun is supposed to be this unstoppable monster, but Brock Lesnar beats him like he's nothing. They didn't do any favors post SummerSlam booking with Braun. They completely ruined him. Nobody wanted to see Brock and Braun at the Royal Rumble. That's why they put Finn in there. Because Braun's only hope at this point is to go to SmackDown in the Superstar Shakeup. That is Braun's only hope of survival. Or have enough people go to SmackDown where Braun becomes relevant again on Raw. You need to give Braun the right opponents. And right now, Lashley is not it. It makes me sad how much... Because you figure that Money in the Bank was so wasted. It could have gone to anybody except Braun. And they completely ruined him. I hope the Money in the Bank briefcase goes to somebody who needs the Money in the Bank briefcase. Braun did not need it. He did not need it at all. Let's see. Darren G from the No DQ Galaxy is, what's my opinion on Scott Steiner math? It's better than Common Core math, I'll tell you that much. Or at least there's 141 and 2/3% that it's better. I think if Ricky Steamboat performed on today's product, I think he would be heavily booed because he's too goody good. What do you think? Well, you figure he wrestled a match against Chris Jericho in 2009, Backlash 2009 to be specific, and he was heavily cheered, probably because of his WrestleMania 25 performance. Because you figure Piper was not in the shape to fight. Neither was Snuka. But Steamboat looked like he never missed a day. And he was excellent. Like, they got rid of Piper, they got rid of Snuka. It's like, okay, fine, whatever. It's like, Steamboat, you think, could actually beat Jericho. And Jericho and Steamboat had a good technical match at Backlash 2009. So I don't think that was the case at all. Steamboat's very talented. He's always been very talented. How is Bray Wyatt going to come back? A new character or the same as before? Or if, I'll get to your question in a second, Ken. Bray Wyatt. I think if Bray might appear at WrestleMania, or the Raw after, or the SmackDown after. Really depends. I would say the Raw after, just because the shakeup hasn't happened yet. It's happening a couple weeks after. But I don't know. I feel like it kind of has to be the same character, maybe as a babyface, because you figure he's not with Matt Hardy anymore. So he could go back to that creepy, like, whole Sister Abigail thing. Even though that's supposedly taken away from him, but, you know, continuity in wrestling is not super important, apparently. I don't know. You can't bring him back before WrestleMania. Like, he's not going to come back before WrestleMania, I'll tell you that much. Because it makes no sense. Like, you can't just, like, throw him in the middle of something. Maybe he'll enter the Battle Royal as a surprise. Of course, he kind of just showed up at last year's Battle Royal and helped Matt Hardy win. Okay. Do I think that Ricky Steamboat would get booed like hell if he... I don't know. It all depends on how his character was presented. If he was an awesome technical wrestler, I don't think that's the case. Sometimes people overlook a person's gimmick if their in-ring work is fantastic. Because you figure, what's Ricochet's gimmick? Does he really have one? No, but his in-ring work is excellent, so does he really need one? Sometimes you don't need a gimmick if your in-ring work is solid. Sometimes. Not saying that that's the case all the time. But Ricochet is probably one of those cases. So, I don't know. I'm pretty much caught up. AC saying Ricky Steamboat looked like the love child of Bruce Lee and Sonny Chiba at one point. Darren G from the Noted Q Galaxy is asking what's taking WWE so long to put The Rock in Hall of Fame. Maybe they're kind of hoping that The Rock still has matches in him. I don't know. Or maybe they're waiting until The Rock's 50 years old. Because you figure The Rock could probably go into a WWE ring and perform again. I mean, he's in ridiculous shape. So I don't know. I'm sure The Rock has to go into the WWE Hall of Fame. Unless he does something like so ridiculously horrendous that he won't be. But I don't see that happening. So The Rock will go in one day. Ken Terminated by Google says, it sickens me when Reigns gets booed when he comes out because he's a very good performer. Well, I don't think he's going to get booed anytime soon. I really don't. Unless they do something like shove Reigns into the main event with Rollins and Lesnar, making that a triple threat. Which would be basically like WrestleMania 31 all over again. Yeah, he's not getting booed anymore. Mick Doherty saying Ricochet versus Andre would be a 5-star match. My dog agrees, clearly. And you said you'd love to see Drew McIntyre versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 35. That may be happening, actually. You may get your wish. Or if Reigns turns heel and says leukemia is a lie. I doubt. I mean, that would have been an interesting way to come back. I doubt he would say that leukemia is a lie, but if Reigns did turn heel, like if Reigns cost Rollins the shot to be like, I'm the only member of the Shield that matters at the top, or something to that effect. As my dog is whining. The People's Struggle DVD. Yeah. Yeah. If Reigns turned heel, that would be a big deal, but I don't see it happening. It won't happen at WrestleMania. In fact, he'll probably get put back in the... he may go to SmackDown. We don't know how the Superstar Shakeup's going to go. They probably want to load up SmackDown with talent due to the new Fox deal. So they may put Reigns on SmackDown. We'll have to see. And then we can get probably Daniel Bryan versus Roman Reigns for the WWE Championship. Or maybe they'll switch the Universal and WWE Championships. I don't know. Granted, the Universal Championship is red, but maybe they can put a blue strap on it. I don't know. Mick Doherty says WWE didn't turn him heel when the crowd booed, and they might turn him when he's getting cheered. Yeah, WWE works in weird ways. All right, see you, Caitlin. DJ Whitty, spin the damn wheel, Greg, quick, while I'm still on break. $20. Yes, we get a wheel spin. All right. Finally, we get one of these. So, cross your fingers. Let's hope for a good one. Karaoke. Ah, damn it. Okay. I got to pick one of my songs from karaoke, so forgive my singing. I'll apologize, but I'll pick one of these songs to do. Let's do a little Smells Like Teen Spirit. How about that? Forgive my singing, it's terrible, but let's do it.
To get started with Google's smart campaigns, select your business goal, where you want to advertise.
Skip the ad. All right. All right. Let's get it done. Again, I'm not the best singer in the world, but we're going to try this. Load up on guns and bring your friends. It's fun to lose and to pretend. She's overboard and self-assured. Oh no, I know a dirty word. Hello, 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 how low. Hello, 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 how low. Hello, 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 how low. Hello, hello, with the lights out, it's less dangerous. Here we are now, entertainers. I feel stupid and contagious. Here we are now, entertainers. I'm alive now, and albino, a mosquito, my libido, yeah. Shouldn't have picked a song that was so high to start with. Whatever. I'm worse at what I do best, and for this gift I feel blessed. Our little group has always been and always will until the end. Hello, 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 how low. Hello, 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 how low. Hello, 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 how low. Hello, hello, hello. When the lights out, it's less dangerous. Here we are now, entertainers. I feel stupid and contagious. Here we are now, entertainers, a mulatto, and a mosquito, Filipino, yeah! And I forget just why I taste. Oh yeah, I guess it makes me smile. I found it hard. It's hard to find. Oh well, whatever, never mind. Hello, 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 hello. Hello, hello, hello. With the lights out, it's less dangerous. Here we are now, entertainers. I feel stupid and contagious. Here we are now, entertainers. I'm a mulatto, and a albino, a mosquito, Filipino, a denial. A denial, 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 a denial. There you go. That's what you get. Surprise. Surprised I didn't die on that one. There you go, Caitlin. You did next time of that. Telling you what. Told you the spin is worth it. It's worth it. Let's see. Big Record Johnson, you have balls, man. Yeah, it's like I said, I'm not the best singer in the world, but I do what I can. It's for your guys' entertainment. So that's why I'm doing this. That's why I'm doing the wheel. So you want to see me make an ass out of myself? I have no problem doing it. You guys enjoy the stream, so I appreciate that. I appreciate that, DJ Whitty. So I'm glad it landed on that and not bankrupt on the first spin, because then people would be like, no, I'm not going to land on that at all. But good thing it landed. You're a couple spaces away from landing on bankrupt, but fortunately it didn't. All right. Yeah, the video is going to be demonetized now. Wait, still get the super chat money. It's fine, Rift. You can delete the stream after. I mean, if people really want to watch this thing, they'll watch it live and not watch it later. DJ, sing it with passion. I tried. My voice hurts. All right. Let's see here. Wayne DeP says, Greg, what do you think KO does at Mania? He might be thrown into the Battle Royal, honestly. Really, what else you got to do? Has he even been on the show other than doing the KO show with Becky and Charlotte? There was really no follow-up to the WWE Championship match other than all the stuff with Kofi. I don't know. You might as well throw him into the Battle Royal. He's really not doing anything else. He just came back. So he's not going to have a major storyline. I don't know. And Boston Punk does appreciate that. Yes, so thank you. Again, another $20 and I'll do another one as long as it lands on karaoke. I was hoping for entrance for the first one, but you know, you get what you get. I do have other songs, hopefully, in my range that I can sing if somebody else does that. We'll probably see the KO shows as Boston Punk. Yeah, we might see the KO show, but I don't know if we're going to do... They're going to have enough matches at WrestleMania. They probably won't do the KO show interview segment. Is there really time for it? Granted, they'll probably do Moment of Bliss because Alexa Bliss is the host. So maybe that'll get interrupted with something big. So they might do segments. I don't know. They have a lot of matches going on. Hopefully, maybe they'll do a segment so we'll warm up for more wrestling. I don't know. Mick Doherty, Aaron, who had a no DQ, is going to be at SummerSlam weekend. I'm hoping to be there. I'm hoping to be there still. I'll hopefully be there for the no DQ meetup, which I believe is before SummerSlam, like the Sunday. So hopefully I'll get to be there. Hopefully I'll still be Wrestling Trivia Challenge champion. Still got to get through the match with Jeff. And we'll see if I do get a rematch after that match happens, if in fact Jeff becomes the champion. That's all going to work itself out. And right now we got $100 from Virtue on whoever wins, and we got Big G saying he's putting in $50 for whoever wins. Darren G from the No DQ Galaxy. This is a good question. Top 5 favorite Rumbles, since I'm a Rumble guy, yes. 92 is obviously at the top. 92 is a fantastic one. Other than that, in no particular order, 2001 was a great Royal Rumble. 2004 is another good one. 2007. And honestly, I'd probably put 2018 up there. It was very good. The men's Royal Rumble in 2018. The women's Rumble was good too. I don't know if it was at that caliber. But the 2018 men's Royal Rumble was fantastic. So I'd probably put it up there. All right, Aaron just listed the people who are going to be there for sure. Like I said, I'm hoping to be up there. Like me and my wife were supposed to go up there. Travis, unfortunately, will not be. He can't afford to go. So hopefully, Jen and I will be there. That's what I'm hoping. Boston Punk says he loves the 2000 Royal Rumble. Yeah, 2000's not a bad one. It's got funny moments in it too. Like Kai and Tai doing the run-ins and Jerry Lawler replaying the Takamichinoku bump. It's absolutely hilarious. And you got Too Cool dancing in the middle of it. Which, by the way, Too Cool is one of the dances on the dance break thing. Just saying. For the wheel. Appreciate I got use out of it. Otherwise, I would have been like, nah, okay. Julius Maximus saying, do you think WWE will turn Titan Towers into a Hall of Fame location? That would be a good idea. I mean, if you want a location, why not have it in Stamford? You give more reason for people to visit there. They had also talked about doing a Hall of Fame location in Florida, but building something like that would probably take many years to figure out. Best and worst non-Rumble matches at a Royal Rumble. Best, probably up there, would have to be Chris Benoit and Kurt Angle from 2003. Also, Shawn Michaels and Triple H the year after. Fantastic matches. Also, the 99 Mankind, The Rock, I Quit match. I mentioned that earlier. Another fantastic non-Rumble match at the Rumble. As far as worst, also from 2003, Dawn Marie and Tori Wilson. Like, seriously, what was that? That was not anything worth writing home about. And probably also the one I was at, 2014, Big Show and Brock Lesnar. It really wasn't much of anything. Really wasn't much of a match. After Bryan and Wyatt, which was a fantastic match, I mean, the quality of the show went down. I hate to say it because I love the Rumble. I was so happy to be there for a Rumble Live, but the quality of the show overall just... Sorry to say. And yes, Caitlin, I can actually do most of the Too Cool dance. So if that comes up, if somebody donates $20 and Dance Break comes up, I'll do what I can to do it justice. Don't expect a worm, because A, I don't know if the camera could catch it, and B, I don't know if I can do it in this small of a space. But somebody donates $20 and I hit dance break. Caitlin, you get your wish. You get the Too Cool dance. You should do that for $50. Hey, $20 and you get or a shot at it. $50 will get you 2 spins actually. $40 will get you 2 spins too. But like any duplicate at 20, you get spins. 2006 Royal Rumble was underrated. 2006 Royal Rumble match wasn't bad. Mysterio's appearance in that was great. And it also had a couple of good moments. But 2006 was not my favorite match. Granted, Ray set the record in that match until Daniel Bryan broke it in the Greatest Royal Rumble. But it was okay. It was not my top 5. Let's see. Wayne DeP says, do you think Kofi beats up Vince for a title shot, or would it be too much? I don't think it's too much to ask. I mean, they might do another Occupy SmackDown movement like Daniel Bryan did to get a title shot. Does it seem like repeat booking? Yeah, but, Daniel Bryan's the champion, so you'd be like, no, these tactics don't work against me. It's like, this is exactly what you want. And Daniel Bryan's probably not face. He probably doesn't care. It's really Vince who's the problem there. Honestly, I'm surprised Becky Lynch didn't put Vince in the disarmer to get the shot back. That probably would have made sense for Becky's character. I don't see Kofi doing that. Kofi's too clean cut to do something like that. Not saying he couldn't snap, but if you watch the WWE.com footage where the New Day said they thought about quitting WWE, you realize Kofi's no, I want to do this on my own. It's complete babyface move. It's I'm going to still work through this. I'm still going to get that spot. So I don't think beating up Vince will be the solution. But I think they're going to do something on the SmackDown to try and get Vince convinced to put the title match for WrestleMania. And here it says, luckily Caitlin can dance, otherwise we'd be screwed. Hey, if we can bust out the Too Cool dance in Toronto, if I do in fact go, you can film that and put it on the YouTube channel Rift. Triple H versus Scott Steiner for the worst. Yeah, I agree. I mean, 2003, you had Brock Lesnar versus Big Show, which was decent. And then the rest of the show, other than the actual Rumble match and Benoit and Angle, not that great. And even the Rumble match is kind of... Curtis Butler, your thoughts on WrestleMania 10? Where is that? Yeah, your thoughts on WrestleMania 10. Very mixed show. Because you had the hot opener with Brett and Owen. Probably still one of the best technical wrestling matches in WrestleMania history. And you had Savage and Crush, which a lot of people don't talk about, but I actually love that match. Was that the no holds bar where you had to re-enter the ring in 1 minute? I think it was no holds barred was the official title for that match. Correct me if I'm wrong. I need to rewatch that match. It's been 25 years ago, so give me a break. And then you had Adam Bomb in a random match against Earthquake, and you had Bam Bam and Luna against Doink and Dink. And then, of course, you also have one of the greatest ladder matches of all time with Shawn and Razor. And then that weird-ass match with Brett and Yoko. So, WrestleMania 10 had its moments. Not the greatest WrestleMania of all time. Big Rocker Johnson's asking, which match should open WrestleMania? Probably a championship match. There's no Intercontinental match right now. Probably the United States title with Samoa Joe and Rey Mysterio. Honestly. You figure Samoa Joe hasn't actually had a WrestleMania match yet. Which is weird because he's been on the main roster for 2 years. 2+ years. But he wasn't used for 33 because he wasn't in the stories. And then 34, he was hurt and came back the next night on Raw. So, glad Samoa Joe's finally getting a WrestleMania match. And yeah, it's against Rey Mysterio, but Rey Mysterio is like freaking ridiculous right now. I mean, just watch his stuff against Andrade. It's like watching the Rey Mysterio of 97, 98. I mean, props to Rey for like coming back and being freaking incredible. Go Ray Ray. Boston Punk says Aaron is Scotty Too Hottie, Caitlyn as Grandmaster Sexay, and TJS as Rikishi. Oh my. Caitlyn says Nikki Bella can do the worm. Friend. Well, Caitlyn, you're supposed to be up on all the Bella stuff, so you should be able to imitate Nikki Bella. SC says best year for the Big Four. Best year for the Big Four would probably be I would say 2001. Because the Rumble was solid that year. WrestleMania was probably the best WrestleMania of all time. SummerSlam was not as memorable, and Survivor Series 2001 had some good matches. Definitely not 95, though. We've talked about 95 and how that was probably the worst of the Big Four. Because the Rumble was probably the worst Rumble they ever did. WrestleMania 11 was a heap of crap. SummerSlam that year only had one good match, and I was there for that. And Survivor Series 95 had Brett and Diesel and a bunch of other matches. 95 was a terrible year for the WWE, especially with the pay-per-views. It's just so bad. Favorite wrestling show to watch? Probably NXT, but I'll admit to you guys, I don't watch a lot of the weekly stuff. That's not because I don't want to, obviously. It's because I don't really have time to. I work a lot, and that's why I'm not on the channel as much as I used to be. Unfortunately, that's the way it works, but I do try and catch up with all the ongoings of wrestling, so if we're going to talk WWE Network shows, the Edge and Christian show on the network is fantastic. I love it. Let's see. ASC says 2006 Royal Rumble as an overall show was pretty bad. Yeah, the Cruiserweight match was probably the best match on the show. That like 6-pack Cruiserweight Open or whatever that Gregory Helms entered and won. Big Rocker Johnson, if Kofi wins, should Booker T come out on SmackDown and congratulate him? I don't see that that's necessary. The New Day will have their own special segment if Kofi does become WWE champion. Let's see here. Who do you see getting a special entrance at Mania? Probably everybody. I mean, I don't think many people will have a standard entrance. You figure there's going to be pyro and all that. And everybody's going to have that weird-ass 3D graphic. Those are annoying. I don't know about anybody else. Those pay-per-views where, like, the Rumble and stuff, and WrestleMania and stuff, where they have those big-ass, like, 3D graphics, it's like, okay, why do you have these? I don't know. I think it's stupid. SC says, what's the worst WCW pay-per-view? Probably anything in 2000. Caitlin says, I don't think I've ever tried to do the worm. It's not easy. I've done it, but it's not easy. Caitlin says, Greg, sing Glycerin by Bush. Epic song. I don't think I know that one. I do know Sound of Silence. Both versions, Disturbs and Simon and Garfunkel's. Hey, if you want me to sing, $20. You know how it works. You don't get freebies just because you're part of the No DQ group. Boston Punk says, I just saw Disturbed live a few weeks ago. Fun show. I'm sure it was. Disturbed's version of Sound of Silence is so good. Like, I love that song. I thought they did an excellent job with it. If you haven't heard it, if you have not heard Disturbed Sound of Silence, in like 15 minutes when I'm done with this live stream, go listen to it. It'll be awesome. Which was worse, TNA from 2010, Hogan era, or ECW 1999? I didn't really watch ECW, like the original ECW. That needs to be, whenever I have a free weekend, I need to watch the ECW pay-per-views. Just because I need to familiarize myself with them. There's a lot of old school ECW stuff on the network that I just never watched. And when it aired, I never watched it. I was never an ECW guy. I was always WWE or WCW. I was never an ECW guy. But I do need to go back and watch some of that stuff. See what I know. AC says, personally, I'd rather listen to Seether's Careless Whisper. I need to add some Seether stuff if I can find some karaoke to it. I don't know Careless Whisper, per se, but I realized when going through the karaoke songs I was putting on my list that there's a lot of songs I don't actually know. I listen to a lot of songs, but there's a lot of songs I don't actually know. Aaron is asking, what is everybody's favorite cover song? Hurt by Johnny Cash. It's probably mine. Curtis Butler saying ECW questions in the Iron Man match. I'm sure there are. If that's a spoiler you want, yeah, there's a couple ECW questions in there. But that's all you're getting. Wayne to P. If CM Punk returned to face Bryan, would you mark out? Probably. Probably I would. Just because it'd be ridiculous to see CM Punk back. But I don't see it happening. AC says, I really like Metallica doing Whiskey in the Jar. I need to add some Metallica songs to my karaoke list, too. I only had like 18 before I came on the air, because I wasn't sure how many super chats I got. $20 super chats. Appreciate DJ Weddy for giving me one so I could spin the wheel. And Aaron says, I also like Alien Ant from Smooth Criminal. Jen actually likes that song better than Michael Jackson's version. Because her entire family was not big into Michael Jackson, but Alien Ant from Smooth Criminal is very good. Wayne DeP says, biggest markout moment to me. His was Lesnar in 2012. Probably, I would say, do you remember the segment with Shawn Michaels in Montreal where Bret Hart's music hit, but he didn't actually come out? When Bret Hart's music hit in that segment, I probably marked out. And I was like, holy shit, it's freaking Bret Hart coming out to confront Shawn Michaels. It didn't happen, but it was such a good moment. Even to this day, like, Shawn's promo in Montreal was ridiculous. It was so good. Let's see. What's up, Jeff? Hey, Kayfabe's in the chat. Favorite Metallica cover is either Turn the Page or Blitzkrieg. Yeah, Metallica's Turn the Page was good. I prefer Bob Seger's, though. I liked Metallica's Turn the Page, but I don't know. I'm kind of old school in that. There are some covers I really enjoy. Sound of Silence and Disturbed was one of them. They also did Land of Confusion, which was a cover of a Genesis song. And also Shout, or Shout 2000 was their version. So Disturbed does do quite a few covers. There was also another cover I heard, which was actually a cover of a Metallica song. Who was it? It might have been Disturbed, actually. They did, what was that song? Somebody help me out here. It might have been Disturbed covering Metallica. Fade to Black. Yeah, Disturbed did like a live cover of Fade to Black for Metallica. That's actually really good too. As he says, Disturbed's Land of Confusion had a kick-ass music video in which it had turned into an animated series. Well, I don't know if you remember, Genesis's Land of Confusion was actually like a political song, which I don't talk politics on these live streams, but it was a good song back in the day. I think Disturbed did a good job with it. Wayne DeP's asking if we think we'll ever see an NXT invasion led by the Undisputed Era and built a Survivor Series to remake Invasion. I don't see that happening. I would like to see NXT be involved in some of the main WWE shows more than just the Rumble. I mean, seeing them in the Rumble is cool, but I would actually like to see, if they're going to do that, put an NXT superstar in the Rumble and actually have him win it. Like, that would be a fantastic call-up. Because otherwise, their appearances, it's like they're just one-offs. It's like, okay, whatever. Kayfabe, talking politics should be on the wheel. If you want me to talk politics, I need a $1,000 donation. Because I hate politics. Politics is such a work. Disturbed did a live cover of Unchained Melody. I'm sure that would have been awesome. Alright, I only got about 10 minutes left, and I'm getting congested, so sorry for that. But we got just a few minutes left to get another shot at spinning this lovely wheel here. Still got a chance for a Pro Wrestling Tees shirt. Still got a chance for me to dance like an idiot. Sing more songs. Do a wrestler's entrance. You got a whole bunch of opportunities. And the wheel will be back with every live stream that I do. So invite your friends. If you want them to see me act like a doofus and spin this wheel, $20. $20. You know the super chat. Wayne DeP says, who was the biggest superstar disappointment in 2018? Braun. I've been over this. Braun Strowman's D-push post SummerSlam was a complete freefall. So, it was so disappointing. I hate to say, I don't know if Braun can recover unless he does something in the Superstar Shakeup. Sometimes that benefits a person's career. Look at Jinder Mahal. He was on Raw doing nothing. He went to SmackDown and became WWE Champion and United States Champion. Jinder freaking Mahal. So if Jinder Mahal can have that kind of a push over on SmackDown, perhaps Braun can reinvent himself over on SmackDown. That's really his only hope at this point. Jason says, I appreciate thanks for getting on because I have to get super early for work during the week, so I hardly ever stay up late for Aaron's live streams after Raw and SmackDown. Yeah, it's kind of hard to stay up for Raw and SmackDown as it is. So that's why I try to get a decent time, 7 p.m. Eastern, where people could get on and enjoy the live stream where I just sit here and BS for 2 hours and sing songs. You do watch the WWE shows and the archived live streams the next day. Well, I mean, that's kind of how you have to do it if you can't stay up too late to do it. I do appreciate you watching there, Jason. I hope you're next up there. I had the truffle shuffle on the wheel. Well, I'll have to add that for Dance Break next time, but if you need to get super chats to get things on the wheel. To get these things to happen on the wheel, I need the super chats. It's not just here to look pretty, even though it does. Dudious Maximus, thoughts on Johnny Mundo? For someone who's left WWE and been on the indies for years, he doesn't get the same acknowledgement as others. Johnny Mundo is probably the most successful product of the Tough Enough series. Between him and The Miz, honestly. He's the most successful winner, easily. He just barely beats out Maven. But he is such a great talent. Such a great talent. And I do hope he makes it back to WWE one day. Him and Taya both, honestly. Because they work well together. I mean, they're married, so they kind of have to. But I hope he does make it back to WWE someday. He's doing well with Impact right now. I mean, he's a freaking world champion for crying out loud. So hopefully he comes back to WWE and does even better. Because we could all use some Jomo in our lives. It's better than Mojo. That's definitely for sure. Kayfabe's ratings. People have goth strippers. Of course he is. McDoherty says, Anna's live stream start 4 a.m. here in Ireland. Yeah, I mean, that's when the show ends. That's when Raw and SmackDown ends, 11 p.m. Eastern. So, unfortunately, that's the case. Unless he moves those to noon, which I don't think he will. Yeah, rest in peace, Matt Capitelli. Because they were both the Season 3 winners, if I remember correctly. Right, I'm pretty much caught up. We only got a couple minutes left. Only just a little bit of time for you to get in those super chats if you so choose. Last chance for me to make a fool of myself. See you, Caitlin. You stuck around long enough to see me sing terribly. So I'll see you back in the chat. Boston Punk says I was always a fan of Maven for some reason. I can't explain why. Maven wasn't terrible. When they turned him heel and put him with Simon Dean, it didn't really do him any favors. He didn't really have the charisma. But he had a heck of a dropkick. I mean, he got ridiculous height. Not as good as Hardcore Holly's dropkicks, but watch the Royal Rumble 2002 back, and he got some ridiculous height on his dropkick. No Hey Jose, WWE Champion 2019. Greg, thoughts? I don't even know if he'll be around by the end of 2019. I always knew No Way Jose was... Dancing gimmicks typically do not make it far in WWE. Granted, Too Cool and Rikishi were one of those that got ridiculously over for dancing. But that's lightning in a bottle. They tried. They tried with Brodus Clay. They tried with Sweet Tea. They tried it with Ernest the Cat Miller. They tried it with No Way Jose. Dancing gimmicks do not get over. I don't consider Bugenhagen a dancing gimmick because he does the air guitar. That seems to be ridiculously over in NXT. I don't know how that would translate to WWE. I don't know. And Boston Punk says I like Nydia for other reasons. Yeah, I was watching Taboo Tuesday 2004 the other day. I was like, oh, holy crap, I almost forgot about Nydia. Nydia was very attractive. Very attractive. But not the greatest in-ring worker. She actually also had a match against Jamie Noble at No Way Out earlier that year. I believe it was earlier that year. It's probably her biggest storyline. It was like Jamie Noble had to wear a blindfold and wrestle Nydia in it. Not a very well-known match, but probably one of the few women in WWE who's actually had an intergender match was Nydia. So that was kind of surprising. Big Record Johnson asking, why don't you guys do a How Would I Book? We probably need a specific show to do a How I Would Book, or how I would book a certain situation or a certain storyline. Like, how would you book point A to point B? Like, how would you do that? Because there's probably a lot of different ways to go. Wayne DePee says Kenny Omega or AJ Styles. Probably AJ. I mean, Omega's fantastic, don't get me wrong, but I'm more familiar with AJ than I am with Omega. It's just personal preference. All right, guys. It's almost 9 o'clock here on the East Coast. I try to keep these to 2 hours to hopefully keep you guys entertained. I thank you for joining this one. I thank you for the couple super chats that I got. Thank you to everybody who's watched. And I should see you guys probably next Friday for my next live stream, because I'll be busy all Saturday. Just follow me on Twitter at PA Sensation. You'll know when I'm doing my live stream, because I'll be plugging it all week, and it'll be right here on the No DQ channel. So until next time, Hey, Melvin. I just saw your chat. Hey, Greg Cherry. Until next time, I'll see you on the live stream. And then, after that, after next week's live stream, I'll see you defending my championship against Jeff Meacham in the first ever Wrestling Trivia Ironman match, April 4th. So stay tuned for that. Stay tuned to the NoDQ.com channel for all your wrestling news. And I will see you next time. Oh, where the heck is my mouse? There it is. See ya.